Hey, welcome back to Blanchy Talks Watches. Today we're going to do the full review of the Vostok Neptune. Now, as you can see, this is the black dial version, and I mentioned in the unboxing video, this is quite difficult to get at the minute. It might have changed by the time this video comes out, but right now this is sold out absolutely everywhere because people are snapping it up to do DIY versions of the Vostok Cosmo Diver or Luna Dude. So I was very lucky to pick this one up. What actually happened was I panic bought the white dial version thinking it was the same, and then realised the white dial doesn't have the GMT function. So I emailed Vostok Inc. and they very kindly offered to send me this one instead, so I was thrilled to get this one in. So this is a bit different than your run-of-the-mill Vostok Amphibia. So what makes this so special is a few different things. So number one is the case shape. This is a 960 case and it has unusual lugs, basically with an integrated bracelet. So you can see the single lug comes off there and the bracelet sits on it. Not ideal when your bracelets aren't exactly the best quality, but to be honest, I haven't found this bracelet as bad as other Vostoks I've worn. So this has a 24-hour bezel on it, which is the black and red, so Coke style. It's bi-directional, like all Vostoks. And there's just a tension ring inside to set the tension. This one is tight enough, but when you need to move it, it does move. So the dial itself has applied indices. Actually, that's a great angle there. You can see the distortion of the acrylic crystal there. That's a really clear shot of how it distorts, which is very nice with these watches. As I was saying, it's applied indices and numbering 12, 3, 6 and 9. The 9 is obscured by that small seconds indicator. Then we've got some beautiful paddle hands, and the GMT hand then is red. Now one thing, I'll change the time on this to show you a little feature on the dial that just bothers me, and I see why they've done it, but yeah, you can see it there just at the 50. That's not an imperfection, that is actually, it's like this batten here, they've just kept just the end of it, so as if it had been in place and then it was covered over by this sub dial, similarly with the 9, and I just don't like that at all there. I mean, you've got the minute track with the 50, so I really don't think that's needed. It's just something, honestly, when I first saw it I thought it was a speck on the dial, but you can see there with the reflection it's clearly put there on purpose, but yeah, not something I really like. So I'll show you this now. Date just ticked over to 2 there because Vostoks change exactly on 12. It's one really nice feature about these. Not a fan of dates on Vostoks in general because there's no quick set function. I know you can spin the hands back to, I think it's 8 o'clock, and then forward to 3, back and forth and back and forth, but to be honest, most of my Vostoks just go without the date being set, or I've replaced the dials with non-date versions. So this is not a true GMT watch, and the reason for that is the GMT hand is slaved to the hour hand. So what happens is, as the hour hand goes 1 hour, the GMT hand goes half an hour. So what that means is, as the time goes by, it's taking twice as long to get around. So the reason it does that is because it is going at 24-hour speed rather than 12-hour speed. So the way you would use the GMT hand is you'd set the bezel to the right number, and that's how you'd tell the hour. So say if you were 6 hours off, you'd set the 6 to the top of the watch. So So the GMT hand is then at 15 rather than 9. So you can see you're 6 hours off, 15, which is 3 rather than 9, gives you 6 hours. So as the time progresses, you can see it's now 4 o'clock by the GMT, 5 o'clock. So it is a dual time zone watch, and then as it hits the 12, it is exactly at 6. Finishing wise, this watch is quite nice. I haven't spotted any quality control issues. The acrylic crystal, some people don't like them, some people do like them. They do scratch easier, but they're very, very easy to get scratches out. I have a video on that if you check my how-to section. You can see how to get scratches out of an acrylic crystal in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. The interesting thing about acrylic crystals is while they're far more prone to scratches, they are far less prone to shattering, and due to the unique design of the Vostok Amphibia, they're an integral part of the water resistance, which, while it's only 200 meters in this watch, that's what it's rated to, it's actually considerably more, and as you get deeper, the crystal deforms to increase the pressure, the water resistance even more with the pressure. So these have been tested up to, I don't know if it's 800 meters or something crazy like that. I think, no, even more maybe. Anyway, it's a colossal water resistance, considering they only put 200 meters in the dial. If it was me, I was running the company, I would probably certify them up to 500 meters, because look, people want more water resistance. So I think it'd be a good seller for them if they did, even on special models. So features aside, the dial itself is just very nice looking. Got the minute track going around the outside. Said the applied in says lovely gloss black, deep black, and then the second subdial as concentric circles just gives it a bit more depth, and the second hand is polished. The bracelet, as I mentioned, not the best, not the worst either. Feels a little bit rough. You can see they're not folded in the sides, but they're folded in here, and they do feel a bit cheap. The links doesn't pull hair as much as your standard Amphibia bracelet, but this will not be the permanent strap on this watch. The buckle though is pretty nice. It's signed Vostok. The crown as well is also signed. And the case back on this is very nice. It's got the Amphibia logo there, some Cyrillic writing, and pattern I think is supposed to represent the waves. Yeah, all in all, it's a very nice package. Okay, so for the size of this, this is smaller than your standard Vostok, so it could be a great option for a lot of people who are smaller wristed. They find Vostoks just a bit imposing. So the diameter is just about 39, 40 I believe, yeah, just over 40. And then the lug to lug, including the way the lug sits, is only 44.5, but as you can see, it does drop down quite straight, so it does wear a bit smaller, I find, because it doesn't have the curved lugs hanging off. So we'll try it on for size. For reference, my wrist is 7.25 inches. I've said many times about 42 is my preferred size, so this does feel a little bit small on me. I think part of that again is down to just the way the lugs are. I think if this extended out, it'd feel a lot bigger, so it does wear smaller than your standard 40mm watch. That being said though, it does fit my wrist quite nicely. Tightened down like this, it's pretty comfortable. I don't really notice hair being pulled too much. It does happen a little bit. This clasp is a little bit looser than I'd like. It does pop open sometimes. I think I might give it a bit of a squeeze with a vice or something and try and just make it a little more secure, a little bit rattly. Not the best, which is a shame for a watch like this, which you're kind of tied to the bracelet unless you're either getting the adapters, which were sold out when I bought this watch, or a custom strap. So my plan for this is I'm probably going to try and DIY a custom strap and see if that's an option. Maybe even a bracelet. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll do a video whenever I try it, because I think that's it's a real gap in the market for that, because people want these watches but are definitely put off by the integrated strap. As for the lume on this watch, it's definitely there. The GMT hand is significantly brighter. Now, to be fair, the camera isn't really picking it up. I might put in a picture just to show it better. Flip side of that is my camera is really good at taking lume shots in the dark, so it look much better in a picture than it is in real life. But if you've watched my other reviews, I'm using exactly the same setup, so the fact that this isn't showing up very clearly kind of indicates what the lume is like. You're not buying a Vostok if you want amazing lume, which is a shame, because it's something that I think lets them down. And for such a an iconic watch, iconic brand even to collectors, I think a few small touches could really take them to the next level. Look, the lume is there. It's not the biggest put off it not being amazing, but if I had my choice, I would like it to absolutely glow like a Christmas tree, because I think that's what this watch needs. So, overall thoughts and impressions. I like it. It's unusual. Vostoks in general are unusual, but this is taking it another step further. It's an iconic case shape as well. I think everyone should try one out at some point. I'm really happy that I have finally tried it out. And as I mentioned before, the lugs have been very off-putting. For years that I've been collecting Vostoks, I've never really felt the urge to just go ahead and do it. So I'm glad I finally did, because look, it's not ideal having the strap the way it is. I think some people will just be fine with the strap that's on it. Other people will buy the adapters, and other people will get custom straps. So with the amount of aftermarket watch straps and accessories out there now, I think something as simple as the lug shouldn't stop you getting any watch, because there's always a solution out there to make it fit you best. I think this is an ideal watch for people who want to get a Vostok, but some of the more traditional cases are just too big for their wrists. This does have enough wrist presence without being overbearing, and the classic styling on this is very nice as well. It's not flashy, but it is quite distinctive. Vostoks aren't without their quirks, deliberate or otherwise. So if you haven't seen the wobbly crown on a Vostok and you unscrew it for the first time, any other watch you'd think that is broken, but that is actually part of a protection mechanism for the movement to keep it. If it's unscrewed and it got a bang, but it is unnerving the first time you unscrew a Vostok crown. It's wobbling away like that. Little quirks like that make me really like the brand. I'm a huge fan of Vostoks. Bought and sold vintage Vostoks when I started collecting at one point, and I have a few vintage, a few modern in my collection. Really like them all, and I think every collection needs at least one Vostok, and in my personal opinion, I think every collection needs a few Vostoks, because they're just such a versatile watch that they can scratch an itch for many different brands with the look you can get through mods and such. So yeah, absolutely recommending these. I'll drop a couple of links to different models in the description, so make sure you check them out. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like, comment what you'd like to see next. I have a few videos planned, but I'm always looking to hear your guys' suggestions, and please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks very much. Cheers.